It's a race against time. We have exactly 1 hour and 30 minutes to get to our destination.
This message will self-explode. Leave it to somebody to cut us with 3 minutes to spare.
The GPS says we will get there within 3 minutes. So that's the time our tour happens. After that 3 minutes.
Y'all remember somebody made us late for another tour not too long ago.
I told him I had to get a shower. I mean, damn.
Never mind that it's 11:30.
We slept in today too.
I did.
Oh, you lie. Such a liar.
I got up at 5:30.
No, he did not. No, he did not.
Waiting on a woman.
Nope. Nope. Look, if I got up at 5:30 and started getting ready, and this is all that I accomplished, I got worse problems than oversleeping. Seriously. Such a liar. Such a liar. There is where we're going. Up there.
There's your Trail of Tears Highway.
I'm going to try not to chew my hair. I thought today was going to be warm, and it's not.
So welcome back, Travels with Tommy and Lori. Talking about everything else.
That's right.
Today we're at the Chief Vann House in Chatsworth, Georgia.
He was the richest Cherokee Indian. Well, actually, it was half Scottish, half Cherokee, but this was all in the heart of the Cherokee Nation, and he was loaded. So he built this splendupus, fantastic.
This massive house
Yeah.
of wealth.
Yeah. So let's go take a look. And we are about to watch a video.
At the end of the American Revolution, the winds of change were blowing across North Georgia. This was Cherokee territory, a land on the verge of great transformation. Perched atop a hill overlooking the Cohutta Mountains and straddling two very different worlds, the Vann House stands as a testament to a time when two cultures collided. If these walls could speak, they would tell of Europeans settling in North Georgia and raising families with the Cherokees. They would tell of Cherokees embracing many of the European ways, and they would tell of James Vann, builder of this showplace of the Cherokee Nation, and of his son Joseph, two men of influence whose lives reflect the two worlds they lived in.
Showboat, and 3 others.
It turns out this guy was a party animal. He threw like a 4-day party once the house was built. So that was a terrible story. It's terrible.
Can't change history.
They took the property. The dude died because he was an alcoholic and an asshole. And his son got the property, and then the state of Georgia was just like waiting in the wings to take the property from him. Took the property from him, kicked all the Cherokees out, which we know happened, you know. Trail of Tears. Sorry, it's still dark in here. Ooh, now it's black, and now you can't see me. Okay, I'll be back. So anyway, they kicked him off, took the property from him, put his whole family on the Trail of Tears, and it was just like awful. It was terrible. It's a terrible story. Terrible story.
by James Vann. The Vanns are the wealthiest Cherokees in the Cherokee Nation. And even at one point, they were one of the wealthiest families on the East Coast. They had about 800 acres around here. So everything you see around here, they owned at one time. Right now we just have about 135 acres left, but the house is the only remaining original structure. But he had everything on his plantation. He needed to help build this house, so he had brick kilns, blacksmith forges, and sawmills. So pretty much everything for his house came from his plantation right here. All right. So, coming in, just came in the front doors. What we notice is the big staircase right here. Of course, not many homes had staircases like this. It's called a double cantilevered staircase, which means it winds up and around at the top. So if y'all come over here on this side and you look up, you can see how it winds up and around at the top.
Wow, that's cool.
And the stairs are also really cool because they're called a floating staircase, because before 1998, this pole was not here. So the stairs just kind of seem to float there without any visible means of support. Especially over 200 years, you're going to start to sag a little bit.
Yeah. After 45, I'm sagging.
I will say we don't have any of the Vann's furnishings, furniture, anything like that. All their stuff has been lost to time. But we do have period correct antique. But what is original is, of course, the house itself, all the architecture y'all see, all the woodworkings, each mantelpiece in each room, and some of the flooring. So back on the back half of the room is all original flooring. Up here is not, but the higher we go up, the more original the flooring will be.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so this is the most colorful room in the house. And that is because of the big mantelpiece right there. Again, all the architecture, woodworkings are original. But even all the paint colors y'all see in here and throughout the home are all the colors the Vanns use. And we know this because in the 1950s, when they were restoring the home, the art restorers put through about 19 layers of paint and wallpaper to find all these original colors.
Wow.
And they're all nature colors. They all mean something different. So the red is for red clay, green is for the grass, blue is for the sky, and yellow is for corn or wheat. But in here, this is, like I said, the parlor. So this is where they entertain guests. They had business meetings in here, as well as council meetings. We're really close to New Echota, which was the Cherokee capital at the time. It's about 17 miles straight from us. So this was James's room when he was here, and then it was Joseph's, his son, when he took over. James really only lived here for about 4 years until he was shot and killed in a tavern. And that happened in what is today Forsyth, Georgia, so a little bit past Atlanta, and he is buried out there. Yeah, and then Joseph inherited everything when he turned 21, and he pretty much lived here the longest until they were forced out. But out in Oklahoma, he was keeping up with his father's business. They were still wealthy out there, and he was actually doing a lot of stuff with steamboats. So Joseph actually ended up dying in a steamboat explosion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you drink and try and race your steamboat down the river. We're not leaving. So the leader of the militia got a log from one of the fireplaces and threw it up here on this first level to smoke everybody out. And that worked. Everybody ran out. But the leader of the militia wanted this house for himself. He had his eye on this house for a while. Didn't want to burn down his own house. He just sprayed it. So he sent Joseph back in to extinguish the fire, which he did. And then they forced him back out. And that is when the Vanns made their own way to Oklahoma. So pretty terrible situation.
Yes, that was a terrible story.
Mm-hmm.
There's the scar of the fire.
And in here is the guest bedroom. So a lot of prominent people, some prominent Cherokees, we believe did stay here. Above the mantelpiece, we have Major Ridge, Sequoia, and David Vann, who was a cousin and was also on the Cherokee Council. But we also know President James Monroe stayed here. Monroe, during his presidency, was coming down to the South just to kind of see what's going on down here, called his Tour of the South. And he came by this house one night and did stay here because, you know, nowhere else really around here the president could have stayed. So this was the fanciest option for him. And he was here in 1819.
I know that's not an original bed, but it sure is pretty.
It is really pretty.
It's on wheels. You just roll over.
Ugh. Worst job in the house there.
In a very fancy chamber pot, though.
It is very fancy.
Size up there.
So me
I
size.
think she'll fit.
All right, so coming up, this is the boys' side over here. Girls' side is on that side. And all the flooring up here is original.
Creepy dolls.
That is some creepy dolls.
The Vanns did have a lot of kids, but not all of the kids were up here at once. James had about 15 kids.
Whoa.
Yeah. And Joseph had about a dozen.
Jeez.
Her other wife or wives live on the house in a house on the property, and their kids live with them.
Now, was that a Cherokee thing or was that?
It was,
Just
but
them.
it wasn't really common. You had to be very wealthy because you had to be able to afford.
Yeah, right.
everything. But women could also have multiple husbands. So,
Making fair.
yeah.
Oh, thanks.
You know what kind of bed this is?
Yes, Tommy, I do. Do you?
I do. Hey, we got one.
We do have one. Sitting in storage.
Well, all right.
James Vann owned upwards of 100 African slaves. He had a couple thousand head of cattle,
Yeah, I don't remember all
couple
the numbers.
hundred horses.
But it was like 800 acres.
Yeah, it was 800 acres. But he owned like so many businesses and stuff around here too. They had an apple orchards and all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
He partied for 4 days.
Yeah.
He was a raging alcoholic, and he sounds like he was not a very nice man.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Killed a couple of people, was very, very abusive to his slaves. And then when he died, and he died a very violent death, he was killed in a tavern about 50-something miles from here after a night of drinking and debauchery.
But he only lived in this house for 4 years before he was killed.
So then his son inherits it when he turns 21, Joseph Vann, and he was a lot better than his father, but he was also as business smart as his father was. So he had very diverse interests, business interests. And when the state of Georgia started taking land from the Cherokee Indians and giving it to the European settlers, their wealth didn't save them. So
Right, they had to go too.
they were forced out on Christmas Eve.
I think it was.
Yeah, they were forced out on Christmas Eve. And the guy who came with the militia to take the house
They went right in through that front door.
and forced everybody out. And the guy was going to burn the house down. He lit a log and threw it up the stairs and then realized, oh, I'm going to burn the house down that I've had my eye on forever and am about to take possession of. So he makes Joseph Vann go back in there, put the flame out, and then pushes him back out.
And that was it.
And that was it.
They were gone.
They were forced to go to Oklahoma. And if you turn this way, you can see that the Trail of Tears, this was the original, the road there, was the original path of the Trail of Tears. So now we're gonna go look at some of the outbuildings, and hopefully this wind will calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Go check out some of this other stuff.
so I often wonder when I look at houses like this, I think about the people who lived here, if they were still alive, or if they could come back for a day and look out from their master bedroom window, what would they think? Why is there a Circle K? What is a Circle K? Why is there a Chevron? Why is there two across the road from each other?
So the Vann's barn was just right across this highway that of course was not here then. It was on the other side here. He had as many as 1,000 cattle, 150 hogs, and 250 horses. But he also had race horses, so it held his prize race horses too.
Huh.
The barn was built 69 by 22, 8-foot shed. The barn was valued at $500.
Dang.
But I guess these are sketches of what it would look like. So the barn was across the street here. So pretty much anything you see was their property, which is pretty cool.
I mean, it's just magnificent. It really is. It's so beautiful.
Is it everything you wanted it to be?
Yes. I've been wanting to come here for years. Years. I do hate that he was an asshole though.
Well, he
I mean,
lived here 4 years, and his son took it over.
And he did do a lot though. He was instrumental in getting schooling brought to the Cherokee Nation here, and supported a church moving from Salem, North Carolina to the area. So there is that.
Well, he had corn cribs, he had stables, he had a smokehouse, and he had the slave quarters.
This is the kitchen workhouse. Ooh, it smells good in here. It smells like cedar. So this is where all the meals would have been prepared. Oh, dang, that scared me. Jiminy Christmas. You kidding me? So these were two of the slaves that were, this is their story, that were owned by Vann, the Vanns. I guess this is where they slept and worked. I imagine this would be very uncomfortable during the summer. Probably be warm in the winter though with the double brick ovens and stuff, but it'd be awful during the summer. Oh, there's stairs? All right, I'm going up. YouTube's looking at your butt.
Well, hang on, I'm taking a picture.
I mean, I don't mind, but not the best lighting situation in here. So this was Patience. And our guide said that they only had a few of the stories of his slaves, which is sad.
Yeah, there's 2 steps before you go down.
I know this is a reconstruction, but they sure did a good job making it look authentic, other than the can lights. There goes Tommy, take it off again. Lord, I swear. Our guide was telling us that this is actually an original 1800s Cherokee home. They just moved it from another place in North Georgia. So that's kind of cool that it's not a reconstruction. They must have been some short people. Tommy's not that tall. It's like a Lori size. doorway. Dark too. Oh, gee, them things scare me every time. Shut up, Tommy. I mean, I understand putting them there for the sake of, you know, whatever, but it scares me. That bed looks so uncomfortable. A ladder to the loft. That's kind of cool. But here's another one. It's got some displays in it. Be hard to see. This is the only time in my life I've ever had to duck anywhere. I'm 4'11". I know these guys had to be taller than that. Ah! Jerk. That's pretty cool. I wonder if that's original. I gotta pee, but not that bad. That's starting to warm up a little bit. Oh, Lord. Hashtag no thanks. I mean, if I had to, but I don't have to. Too big of a house for me. But I love that it's old and I love the colors in it. A corn crib. Plows and various other sundry things that go along with farming. There's the elusive Tommy in the wild.
All right, well, we just wrapped up our tour, and our part of it, she guides you through the house, gives you the information, but then you get to walk, you know, the grounds over here and kind of figure it out on your own.
Yeah, explore it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was worth the drive. What?
House is beautiful.
The house is stunningly gorgeous.
We got a magnet.
Worst part has been my hair.
Yeah, it's it turned off a little windy. It was
Stop it.
It was all right this morning, but then it turned off windy, so
yeah,
it's
I
all
wore
rain, so it's good.
I wore capris thinking, you know, it was going to be warm, and then thank God I had my sweater
It wasn't bad.
in the car. Okay, but
It's windy.
anyway, highly recommend.
Yep.
The ladies in here are nice. So
Yep. Good. Like I said, good tour. A lot of information. You get to watch a little film in the beginning before you even go on the thing, and then if you got any questions, they'll be more than willing to answer.
that was probably one of the better films too. It wasn't too long.
About 15 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't too long, and it was extremely interesting, the stuff that it went into and talked about. It's a terrible story.
Well,
It's a horrible story.
like I said, it is what it is. I mean, you can't do nothing about that, but at least we still have the house.
That's true.
That's always good. Well, until next time.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da!
All right, y'all. So, mind officially blown. I've just always wanted to come up here to that house. And, you know, as we were watching the film initially, they said something about him owning a couple of taverns. And we have a road not far from where we live called Vann's Tavern. And we were like, Vann's Tavern. So I got curious and I looked it up, and come to find out, dude buddy was shot and killed not far from where we live, and he's buried over there. So now we're going to have to go on a hunt for his grave because, I mean, it's there in our town. So that has to happen. What a coinkydink. Who would have thought? Is that not amazing?
That's amazing.
Would you ever thought in 1,000 years?
Maybe 1,100.
So, anyway, we're going to get something to eat. We'll be back. So, we found a cemetery. That's part of where we were. And my hair is rough. But I don't know how great it's going to be because I don't see very many tombstones. So, this is Spring Place Mission. It's called God's Acre. God's Acre got a big ass ant mound on it. Okay, so this dude is buried here. It says 2 weeks after he got the principal chief position, he died. According to his wishes, Principal Chief Hicks was brought to his beloved spring place for burial, dressed in white, reposing in a walnut casket. His remains rested for several hours in the spring place chapel and were viewed by an immense gathering of people. Cherokee leader Major Ridge, on taking a last look at his dearly beloved friend, delivered a stirring eulogy. 6 Cherokees then carried Chief Hicks to this spot. So, right here. Well, how about that?
Oh, you got a picture of.
What's this?
That would be Anna. Anna.
These are all the people who were buried here that the markers are gone. So there used to be markers here. But you can see, if you kind of look close, you can see the depressions in the ground where the graves were. Sorry to anybody I'm stepping on. So, surrounding you underneath are the graves of these 9 people, as well as those of several unknown individuals. So this is all their names that they know of. Tommy's done got bored. So there are vans buried in here too. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's not much, but it's still neat, I think. Well, this chick's buried out here. She was a missionary from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. What is this? Morovian Mission to the Cherokee Indians was erected near this spot on the Tellico Trail. It's a nice little sitting park. Oh, so it gives you like a little map of where the school and all that stuff was. Well, that's neat.
I imagine that kind of is setting that.
Is this one of those maps where
It's unreadable.
I mean, this is for you, Chuck and Sherry. We're at it again. We don't know.
Right here.
What is that early
That's where the road.
1800s lane?
Yeah.
Oh, how do they know that? Do you think? What's wrong?
My right eye is blurry.
You need to wash your hat.
No.
So we had like 3 choices of where we could go eat. Picked Royal Waffle King because they were open, because most everything's closed on Sunday.
They were open.
I think it was a bit of a bold statement that they claimed to be better than Waffle House. Waffle House might be better. I mean, it wasn't bad. Wasn't the worst thing. But we had barbecue.
Oh.
A barbecue platter for almost the same amount of money we spent here. And the barbecue was well worth more than what we paid for it. And this was well below what we paid for it. So, I'm gonna have to say,
Excuse me.
out of 10, I'm gonna have to give it like a 2.5.
Really? I wouldn't go that low.
Yeah, no, it's a 2.5.
No, so I wouldn't go that low.
It was a 2.5. Service was good. I thought the girl was new, not her fault. Service was good. The hash browns were okay, but
fries were good. I mean, everything tasted fine.
2.5. 2.5 out of 10. I hate doing that, but it is what it is. However, thank you for being open, Royal Waffle King.
Royal Waffle
When everything else
King.
was closed.
There's a food city.
So, well, all right.
Well, all right.
So you see the menu there. It is very extensive, and there's a lot of selection
Yeah.
there. Maybe too many
Yeah,
selections.
they had a good selection, and I went with the patty melt, and I wasn't looking at Patty at that time.
There's Tommy, somewhat confused over why he's being overcharged.
Yeah, it was a little more expensive than what we thought.
I had the hamburger steak with eggs and hash browns and toast. Those eggs were still clucking.
Yeah, and my patty melt, I've had good patty melts and I've had okay patty melts. That was on the verge of not even being a patty melt.
Well, just for scale, this is the patty melt that I've made.
Yeah,
and we'll do a fair playing ground because neither one of them were on rye bread at that time. So
that didn't matter.
So anyway, the house, it was $6.50 to get in.
Yeah.
The museum was really well done. I mean, we didn't upload a whole lot of pictures on this. We'll maybe put them on Facebook, but
yeah. And as we raced there, once we got there, and we were a little early, the tour did not start for another 30 minutes. So it didn't really matter.
It didn't matter. So Tommy fussed me out for no reason.
But it's a great story, and
it's not a great story. It's a terrible story.
It is a great story of having the heritage to be able to go to places like that that are still standing from the 1800s that you can go visit and get the whole the feeling of what took place back then.
Yeah, but it was still a terrible story. It's awful.
It is what it is. So
and what was so bad was, as bad as James Vann was, his son was actually pretty good. In fact, I did a little research on that. Surprisingly, I know. And there's no record of him, Joseph Vann, mistreating his slaves during that time. So while, yes, he did own slaves like his father did, hopefully he was better to them than his father was. But it's a beautiful house.
It was a beautiful house. I hate that a lot of the original stuff wasn't there, but we know why.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Yankees.
were, yeah,
terrible.
the Yankees took over, and I don't know if they took their property or left their property behind. I assume that they left it behind.
Yeah, so it's totally worth seeing. You know, just for the grounds alone. The grounds are magnificent.
Yeah, and the colors of the house and the way it's laid out is really something to see, because you look at it from the outside and it kind of gives you a modern feel, but when you go inside, you can really get the 1800s feel from it.
And I can't even explain why. I've always had a thing about this house, and I've always wanted to see it. I have zero Native American blood in me. So I have no idea why it's always just been a fascination of mine. I don't know. I just know that it's somewhere I've always wanted to go, and I was glad to be able to go. But the Mission Cemetery was cool. A little bit disappointing in terms of, there's no markers except for those two left out there. I kind of understand why, but it's still worth visiting.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when we upload new videos. Till next time, bye-bye. Stay spicy.